education. This classical Yamane's double needle technique. So this Amar Agarwal, Professor Agarwal popularized this technique of glued IOLs, but there are some hassles in this surgery. Not everyone was very happy or very easy to adapt to this technique. So he has developed this technique with double needle technique. So I have no financial interest. So what are the advantages? It's a glueless and a sutureless technique. So you don't have to dissect the conjunctiva. You don't have to put a glue. No flap dissection is required. So as we begin with the complete vitrectomy and removal of capsular tags, we can do a complete vitrectomy, or at least a thorough anterior vitrectomy is required, and complete removal of vitreous around the entry points where you're going to tuck the IOLs in the sclera. So I will just show this animation. So first you insert a needle at one place in the sclera. Then you tuck the leading haptic into the bore of the needle, and then you insert another needle 180-degree apart and insert the trailing haptic inside it. Then you externalize it, pull it out. When both haptics are externalized to the wound, small bore openings, you create a flange with you apply heat cautery, low heat cautery, and create a flange so that it doesn't go back inside, and tuck it inside. So we begin by marking the axes. Axes are marked 180-degree apart by using marker. It should be 90 degrees to the incision to facilitate the correct tucking of the haptics inside the needle. We pass the needle from point A is marked from 2 millimeters from the limbus, and another point is marked in clockwise direction, 2 millimeters parallel to the limbal with a small degree of angle in between. And we pass the needle. This is the surgical video. Okay. We pass the needle from this point to that point. We inject a lens inside, keep the trailing haptic outside of the globe. Then with the help of a vitreoretinal forceps, we grasp the haptic and just thread it inside the bore of the needle. Here I like to use a 27 gauge needle because the lenses that are available here do not accommodate, don't get accommodated inside the 30 gauge needle that we get here. So another needle is passed 180-degree apart. The 2 millimeter part of intrascleral portion of the needle is very crucial. Then the trailing haptic is threaded similarly inside. You thread it till the maximum concavity, then convexity, and then we pull both the needles out and externalize the haptics. Then we apply heat cautery to form a flange. You can notice that I am touching in the haptic here, which used to do in the earlier cases. Now I have modified the technique a bit. I will show you this later. And we tuck it inside, firmly inside the tunnel, and the case is done with. So, but the question is asked, why is 2 needles are required? Why not 1 needle? So this is the position where your second needle is going inside when you put a second needle, and this has to be the position from which you can easily insert the trailing haptic. If you pull it out first, then the lens rotates and this haptic goes much beyond. This will be your entry point, and it will goes much beyond this point. So you have to pull back. Even if you insert it inside the trailing haptic after flanging, this doesn't turn back totally here, right? So you still have to go. Your needle will be here, and you have to pull the lens to this side, and this causes some tension in this area of the IOL and this area, the junctions, and they may lead to further failures later in the course. So it's better to stick with if you use two needles, this will be the position from which you can easily thread the haptics and trailing haptic. But there are two problems with using two needles. The many problems people get is the slippage of opposite haptic in the vitreous or in the tunnel during flanging of the one haptic. So what I advise that you use 27 gauge needle, not a 26 gauge needle, because that creates a shorter scleral tunnel. We can adopt this technique by keeping one needle in place of the trailing haptic. I will show the video for this. So we are now externalizing this, but I'm not taking out the needles yet. So I use now a forceps to slowly take it out without causing traction on the other side. Hold with the forceps gently, create a flange now. See, here I'm not touching it. Then you can remove the other needle. So this will prevent the slippage of the opposite part. Then we tuck it and the surgery is over. So pointers for successful surgery as practice before the surgery: mark the axis correctly. Orientation of wound of 90 degree, around 90 degree has to be observed. Always use two needles, that's what I would say, and try not to touch the cautery to the haptic. Just do it through the thermal radiation. So this is how it, before your first surgery, you should do this. Get a feel of how it goes inside, how much force is required without bending it. And the markings are important. I have already shown you that markings. So this 10-degree angulation here, 10-degree angulation here is required to accommodate this angulation of the haptics to the haptic-optic junction. Correct holding position is important. Don't hold too close. This is particularly important for the trailing haptic. It will not enter the needle. Instead, hold it far slightly away so that it goes easily inside and you can trade it. Flange creation has to be done by keeping the heat source away. As you can see, there is some distance. Only by the radiation heat I am creating a flange. By this way, it will not be seen visible outside. It will go inside the tunnel, plug the tunnel, and don't go inside. So the advantages of Yamane's technique is reduced surgical time as compared to sutured or glued IOLs. And there is advantage of flange, which I will show. The creation of flange. This is an experiment shown by Dr. Shin Yamane, where he has plugged it inside, flanged IOL in the porcine eye he has done, and put pressure stress on that eye. So they pulled it, and while pulling, you can notice the flange doesn't break, but the haptic junction breaks. And you can do it through a small pupil as well, without much problem. You can trail it through a small pupil also. And the complications can be intraoperative haptic slippage, lens flip, and post-operatively can lead to vitreous hemorrhage and RD, as any other surgery can do. Thank you very much. The complications will be discussed later.